Hi and welcome to Cinema Express. The second season of Bandish Bandits has just premiered on Prime Video. So Narayani and I are here to discuss the season, what we thought could have been better, what we liked, how the songs were, and a lot of other things. Before we go into the discussion, I just wanted to mention that there was a happy accident today. I am team Rathod Gharana and she's team Tamanna and her pop sensation vibe because we totally didn't plan our outfits. We've just randomly come up in these outfits. So happy accidents.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, Narayani, what did you think about this season? What are your first thoughts?
My first thoughts on the top of my head are maybe the season did not match up to the first season. The vibe and everything was, the whole premise and how they took it forward were all there. But I just felt that it didn't match the first season. The high that it gave us, the music, the simple music that gave us all the chills, were just a little bit more complicated, little bit more convoluted in the second season. Maybe I felt that it left with me a little bit more questions than answers.
Okay.
And it felt that few more areas could have been a lot more polished, a lot more consistently done.
Could you point out some questions that you had at the end of the season?
Say towards the end, I was a little disappointed because the whole issue of how the Panditji and how his whole Gharana has been established were all nicely portrayed, and the story was very well said.
Visuals were also beautiful.
Amazing, yeah. When the book came out and people were criticizing, saying that the book was only there to criticize the Panditji and his life and everything, it somehow didn't tell us that he is also a flawed person. At the end, they just glorified him. Of course, there are a few misinterpretations in the book. They might have misquoted him. They might have said a few things wrong here and there because the secret only lies with Panditji's friend who was there in Bikaner. Only when he revealed that certain things were not there, this is how the story unfolded, we got to know the answer. But that doesn't...
What he still did to his daughter-in-law is...
It doesn't justify the same.
I have a point regarding that, it was illogical to me. When the book's claims come out and when that author says they are against women, he stopped his own daughter-in-law. That girl defeated him in Sangeet Samrat.
Exactly.
And so to defeat her, he made her his daughter-in-law and all of these things he ends up telling us, right? I just didn't realize this whole media show. I understand that they are against Panditji. They are like, okay, Panditji is a flawed person, so we are against him. We are not going to give him the glorification or the title that he deserves. But how are they also against the woman who has been silenced all these years?
Yeah.
There's this girl, actually, there's one scene where one girl who acts up like she looked like a very obvious feminist. I hate when series do that, making them, and she takes her mic and she's like, this is against feminism. This lady was not allowed to, pursue her dreams and passion. So that means you should give Mohini more the chance and choice to prove herself and probably lead the Gharana, right?
Correct.
You cancel Radhe, you cancel the Panditji, but why are you cancelling the whole family, the whole Gharana? That is wrong. Just because the guy who established it did a mistake. In the same family, a woman has lost her opportunity.
Lost her voice, basically.
Lost, quite literally, right? So that, and even in the end, because you said glorification, it seemed super illogical that the king just came back and be like, we should do a tributary ceremony for Panditji.
Exactly. That is why he felt very inconsistent.
And he was the one as soon as media reports said that, he's wrong, the same king was like, we have no relations with this Panditji's family and Rathod Gharana and all of that. And then immediately, as soon as one small thing, IBC they get some kind of limelight, immediately. So it seems very flimsy, it's very, I just thought of this, so I'm just writing this into the series.
Very easy.
Yeah, very convenient, right?
Convenient.
Yeah. So that even I had.
I think they were trying to bring forth the fact that Mohini lost her voice. There was one scene where Radhe Rathod was saying that, she's doing something for the first time in her life. So I think they were trying to establish that, but they didn't bring it forward much. In the whole process of saving the Gharana, saving the whole family, not letting Panditji's work die, they forgot that we should not glorify him too much. We should also show him as a flawed person. All these things that he did to the Sangeet family does not mean that he still did all these mistakes in his life. That's where I had my grouse with.
I also feel like this is again a completely creative choice, so I cannot say it's wrong in any way, but I would have felt very empowered if Mohini had a better role to play in the season. Because, as usual, you see, she makes two choices in this season. One, to go with Digvijay, right? Atul Kulkarni's character, where in that thing also, she is like Digvijay comes forward and says, "You sing with me. Let us tour the world. Let us take this Gharana outside Rajasthan or Jodhpur or whatever."
A national tour, basically.
A national tour. So this comes from a male perspective again. He is like, okay, come with me. Okay, he needs her help is a perspective, of course, to, like, take the music forward, but it comes from him. And then the second choice she makes is to go and support her son.
Correct.
Which is another person's dream again.
Yeah.
What is her dream? Even though Radhe says things like she's doing something that she likes finally, I don't think that's really her dream, right?
Correct.
So I felt like Mohini, such a powerful performer.
Amazing.
No, and she could have been given a lot more importance this season. I felt, with everything that was conveyed in last. In fact, with the whole her leading the purification ceremony in the last season with Radhe, they could have done more, much, much more this season. So that was a little bit of a drawback for me as well. What are other things you would point out, perhaps?
I just felt that like the whole cast of Tamanna and her Western band in
royalty
fact,
free.
I just felt that Tamanna could have still taken forward the whole thing. I mean, she suffers from a terrible identity crisis, and then she goes through her whole transformation. But in the end, she just dropping the whole band and leaving midway felt like a very dramatic exit, more than a very carefully taken choice. I understand it must have come through emotions, but it was just dropped like that. I mean, it didn't make sense to me at the end of the season when she's already told the band, hey, you know what, we've failed this particular episode. What next? We'll just continue our competition. From today, we are gonna practice more.
She says it's a war and everything, and then she just drops them as soon before going to the finale. Even I didn't understand that particular decision.
Yeah,
and I also felt that conflicts were resolved too easily.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like from the beginning, I think both of us sensed some tension between this Soumya's character and this Tamanna's character,
Correct.
the singers. And I think they wanted to portray, what I understood at least, was that Soumya is bulimic. So she basically eats and then she pukes it and she has an eating disorder. They did not go into the details. She's been having...
Nice observation. I did not think of that. I just knew that she was just binge eating and...
Okay, I mean, I may be wrong. This is what I'm assuming because she eats a lot and then she visits the bathroom.
Yeah.
Basically, bulimia, that's how it acts. If I've read it rightly, I'm not an expert, of course. So, no, my point being... they bring in a new angle of mental health, of identity. Like for example, Tamanna has her own self-doubt. And then Soumya's character, who's immensely talented, still has this problem of appearance and all of that. And even Ananya's character, who's super intelligent, says she can't live up to her family standards, right? It's so, such interesting things. Like everybody faces issues of their own, mental health issues of their own. But I just feel like all of these are resolved very easily. Like Tamanna and Soumya have beef for a long while. Soumya has been angry with Tamanna for various other reasons. Of course, anger that's not really validated, but she's just angry and probably even jealous of the fact that things come easily to Tamanna. And then just as Tamanna says, hey, the world is going to keep judging us, let's go ahead. That's not how conflicts actually resolve in real life, right? It's going to take more than a pep talk for a relationship to be mended. And same goes with Ananya's character. He brings her family and the family is immediately accepting. Bro, where does that even happen? Like, come on. So these things I felt like small things. They wanted these small things to shine. They wanted these smaller, conflicts or smaller kind of details, to be there. They wanted to bring in a more like a modern thing to this, a twist to this, like a Gen Z twist to this. But it's just very easy to sort out these things, right?
It's also very easy to bring in a love triangle, right?
Oh my God, I'm so tired. I was initially happy that Radhe at least didn't have a pair, like a new pair. And then they made that Ananya and Radhe kiss and I'm just like, why? Like, why? I understand that even from Ayan, there's some kind of purpose to the story. Ananya and Radhe's love or whatever, really, the so-called hinted relationship adds zero value to the story. They could have just remained good friends and it would have been so much better, right? Because it's clear that Radhe has not moved on from Tamanna. And even the ending, it seemed very forced to me.
Okay.
Like they wanted to ensure that these two are not together. I don't see reason why these two should not be together. Clearly, they obviously have differences. They obviously have issues in their relationship. But these issues are not clearly pointed out saying this is why these two should not be together. You get my point. Radhe has matured. And in fact, that's also a grouse for me where I loved the innocent Radhe in season 1. He's become too mature to lead that Gharana in season 2.
I think it's just he's the sole heir of the whole Gharana. He just takes up the responsibility and becomes suddenly an adult.
Too serious. Yeah. But for me, I just felt like, he's matured from season 1. Of course, he's realized that, he should not point out someone's weaknesses or should not make someone feel, no, insecure. These things he's obviously learned, and so has she. She has worked on herself. She's gone to a music school. She's bloody won a championship, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, my point being, they're both at a different point in their lives, very able to, I think, take on a relationship. I was not very convinced as to why they had to give up their relationship.
Correct.
Like, they can. I'm not saying they should be together. I just needed better reasons, is what I'm saying. So yeah, I want to ask you about the songs of the season.
Yeah, so the songs, I mean, I think the first time when we heard Bandish Bandits songs, this back in 2020, this thing, the whole album was in the loop, and the film and the series came out exactly during the pandemic when we had such dearth of content, and the songs just kept me going. It was just brilliant, be it Garaj Garaj or
Even Lab Paraye, God.
Sajan Bin, everything was amazing. And the second part is also very uniquely done. It's also very carefully done because they had to incorporate both the Western elements as well as the Hindustani music that the Gharana had learned all throughout their lives. Some of my favorites would be the Sakhi song that the father takes up and sings. I love that he just comes out of his identity crisis and his drinking issue and just suddenly lets out saying that, this is my life. I want to sing this once. I mean, even
and
though
it's
he
really
gets
nice. It's really also nice that, that's all it took. Just give him a little bit of importance for his talent, and he'll be able to even let go of his vices, right? That's all it took for him to just feel better, everybody, no matter how old you are, you need that kind of a validation, I think, to feel, nice about yourself.
The whole rock and Hindustani music reminded me of the Agam band, whatever that they're doing.
Right.
The whole, bringing the whole Manavyala Kincharaja and all of these songs to the general public. I also liked how every season emphasized that you're not bringing Hindustani music or classical music to the general public, because all of these get reserved to the privileged and the upper caste, basically the upper class. And you're not bringing it to the general public where they can enjoy and listen and consume it.
Actually, you spoke about your favorite part being the father singing Sakhi, right? I think one of my favorite moments in the series is when Mahi, the character who leads that rock, and they have an ego battle going on, but he's being big enough to train them actually. And just before the performance, the mother goes. I know it might sound dramatic for a lot of people, but I think that's a very, very beautifully done move where a guru is a guru no matter what.
Correct.
That was very beautiful. And there I thought he would, if I was in a very common mind thought of what dialogue to write there, I would have said things like to Radhe, he has this dialogue, very important dialogue to Radhe, but I would have, if I was the writer, I would have written something like, thank you Radhe for letting go of your ego, or something very basic. But I loved how the writers there had written, thank you for ensuring that the Gharana is no longer something for privilege.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing it to the common people. And that's a very big message, I think.
And he also mentioned, remember that he says that today you broke one of the stereotypes associated with the Gharana.
That's what, that's exactly, that's a dialogue I meant to say. But that's a beautiful, beautiful message in a very, communicated in a very simple kind of a line. And I also like that one more scene where Mohini goes and says, you sang really well, to this one, Tamanna, when after that whole Jugalbandi battle between Radhe and Tamanna. That was also a very beautiful scene. Like, I liked how she came forward to give her that validation, saying, listen, you did well. It's not your fault. It's okay. It's okay even if you mess up. We're all humans, kind of a thing. It was communicated very beautifully, the way she did it and the way she performed. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm not in for anybody falling in on somebody's feet, because today we are all of us are respected. We give equal importance to everybody. But something in us, something so rooted, something so culturally rooted, just to fall in front of a guru, because no matter what, he's, like you said, like the guru at the end of the day. And, he was just sitting with the sitar, and it just felt like like a god is sitting for me. I don't know, I just thought of that in my head. I also like how every character in the season had an identity crisis, had something going on in their lives. They were trying to fix that in their life, be it Mohini or the father or Radhe or Tamanna, biggest identity crisis herself. Like, all of them were trying to resolve it. They had like equal importance to everything.
Yeah, even the side characters got, even like an Ayan, for example, struggling with lyrics. You know what, he's a poet, but he's not. Or Nandini, struggling with her past. Oh, Nandini is a very good character, I think. Divya Datta's character. Like, well written, first of all, hats off to whoever created her wardrobe. It's so good. so good. I'm totally taking tips from there. But, I mean, beyond, and I love her curly hair also. Yeah. But moving beyond the looks part of it, I just genuinely really admire the kind of message that came from her character also, saying sometimes you have to give up on relationships because you don't want the career that the world wants you to have. What
Imrose
the Helvi chooses, that is Arjun Rampal's character chooses, is basically what the world will tell is the right way to go. As a musician, you should become famous. You should become a well-known musician. Not necessarily.
Correct.
I might just choose to hold on to my music and pass it on to upcoming generations, right? That's a very, very important message, because I don't know if this is said enough, because in this pressurizing world, right, there's so much of peer pressure, there's so much of this thing. It's okay to be able to pursue something that you think is right, not the world. That's a very, very nice and again subtle message, I think, communicated through Nandini's character, and she played it really, really well. I like the whole tension between Nandini and Tamanna initially, how she looked like a villain, and then she's no longer a villain, she's actually, a nice. So yeah, all those things were very, very
I love the chemistry between Arjun Rampal and Divya Datta.
Right,
that is too good as well. So what do you think should be more explored in season 3?
So I personally, another problem I had with this season was it was too much reality show, bro. It was too much IBC. I can't move past this IBC now. And why is because, I mean, it's okay to be a reality show, but season 1 was so much, you got a direct entry into two worlds, two contrasting worlds. One of the traditional Hindustani music world, and another is this, modern rock, pop, jazz, kind of a music. So you kind of understood what these worlds are, what would happen if these worlds, come together. And they've tried that a lot in this, as you said, with the mixing of jazz and, Hindustani music, rock and Hindustani music, sorry.
Correct.
And things like that they have, or the Queen Ali rendition, all of that they've done a lot of work. But I really feel they've made it a very, very underlyingly, if you see, the story is not new. Have we never watched a series about a reality show?
We have,
and two teams being pitched against each other? This being the follow-up for a brilliant season 1, super brilliant, about preserving a gharana, which doesn't necessarily bring you money. So what do you do for that money? You also do a modern thing. Is it okay to also sing in a modern way? Is it okay to let go of your roots? Because at some point you have to survive. With so many questions, and with the whole purification ceremony at one point, with the whole Sangeet Samrat at one point, who takes forward this Garan. Such beautiful, beautiful things we came to know. I felt like the second season was too normal for me.
Didn't match up to it.
Yeah, it didn't match up. It was too normal for me. So I genuinely expect the third season to really be something unique. I know Bandish Bandit writers and creators can do better. Definitely better. See, this is not a bad season at all. I was entertained. Definitely, the music was great because they are all creating original music. It's
Correct.
so good. The thing they credit to, say, Panditji, the thing they credit to whoever, it's all theirs. I think you already said, right? Queen Ali is also an imaginary character. So, I mean, all of that is there. So, it's great. But I think they should and they can do much, much, much better in terms of content, because this seemed very, very normal to me. It's run of the mill, in my opinion. What do you think you can expect from season 3?
I want more of Atul Kulkarni. I want to know why he is so stubborn, why he is so, aggressive inside him. I know we got the whole backstory of why he is like
That's
that.
yet another conflict resolved too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon.
But he just goes and says, Tauji.
Tauji, that's it. And then he's like, you should sing with us. I'm sorry. I know that's like a very petty thing, but where did he get his costume ready in 5 minutes? Where did he get that white kurta? But okay, jokes apart, my point being, but that's what I said, right? Like, the conflicts are resolved too easily. It's not, I'm glad that they became a one happy family and he realized what he did was wrong, but they could have brought in a better, because in season 1, his character is introduced mid-season. The conflicts from him come mid-season. And still he had so much value to the thing, saying,
Atul Kulkarni, of course.
Yeah, I'm talking about the character. Of course, there's no question about the actor. I'm talking about the character, of course. Saying that he actually brings in valid conversations there. You want to take his side. When Radhe wins in the end of season 1, you're not entirely happy. You also want Digvijay to win.
Correct.
You want a win-win situation, right? You don't want Digvijay to lose, because what he's gone through is terrible.
Absolutely.
And this season also says the same thing. But I mean, I'm happy that they've all accepted him. This one, Radhe's father calls him Bhai and he calls him Tauji, and all of that is nice. But I don't know. But I have to talk about the visuals, especially in the finale. I loved how both the songs' visuals were It was brilliantly done.
Yeah.
Even for these people, I mean, the royalty-free band, their performance with full
Jugalbandi.
white and the final
Okay, right,
performance
right.
where
Yeah,
they go
yeah.
back to their roots and everything. The full white, the stars, they sing and then they reach out to the audience at the end. Brilliantly done. At the same time, contrastingly, when we come to this, the whole performance that he sang, Panditji's first ever song before
Correct.
he even
Bhajan.
established a bhajan, before he established a gharana. They're just rendering it in a very traditional way. All of them are sitting one single line, singing, their hearts out, but it's very beautiful how, like, there's a very nice kind of a visual effect that they have given to it, and it's very well, that I should give it to them. Visually, this series is always sound, and I think I should always give that, credit to the makers of Bandish Bandits.
And please, I need more of Mohini.
Yes.
Shilpa Chatta's character is so well made. Like she emotes so beautifully.
I want her to live to a better purpose. That's it.
Correct.
Yeah.
She's just very good in the series, and I think she has a lot. Her character has a lot of potential to shine in the upcoming seasons, of course, whenever it is made.
Yeah. I hope it's not a 4-year gap or more.
Of course.
I hope it's sooner. But yeah, interesting, very interesting series. I would definitely recommend those who watch season 1 to watch season 2. Also, I would never say it's a bad season or anything. It's definitely not. Especially for the music itself, you can watch. Bandish Bandits is always watchable, at least just for its music, because I can totally bank on the composers. But yeah, as I said, things could be better. Let's hope for a,
true.
I think, better season 3. So yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay, that's it. We come to the end of this episode where we discussed Bandish Bandits season 2. So stay tuned to our channel. We'll bring up more discussion videos, and thank you for subscribing to Cinema Express.